Hello. Today I want to talk about the rapture. And a lot of us have been on this journey together where we've been researching together, working on this puzzle to understand the timeline. And a lot of us have similar backgrounds in that we went to church and we learned about the rapture. We've been anticipating this imminent event. And when we realized that some of the things that we expected to happen by now, I had been studying a lot about what the third temple in Jerusalem was supposed to be about. They have an institute and everything. So, got into the details, the minutia of the red heifer, perfect without a blemish. I mean, we were going back to animal sacrifice, everybody. Like, where was that going to be okay? But when you're in a teaching, a culture, I'll just say, to be nice, you don't question things, because when you question, they stop you from questioning in different ways, So you find a little tribe of people that you can talk to about the minutia. And that's what we did in 2020, a lot of us. We realized that, okay, the timeline, history, way off. The 1800s, you're still a suspect, a person of interest, the 1800s. That's what I refer to the 1800s as, a person of interest. Because a lot of the architecture of the old world was supposedly built in the 1800s. Yet, the narrative is that they had primitive technology. How did they transport all of this, like dolomite and things like that? I grew up in Philadelphia being in awe of architecture. And when you travel the world and you start to see the similarities in the architecture, they tell us this is the Roman Empire's architecture, Greek, classical this, but when we went on this journey in 2020 and we encouraged each other, like I want to did I thank you, Joseph, over in Ireland? If I haven't, I want to thank you again, Joseph, because I'm so appreciative of what you did for me. And that's the thing, like when you share information with others, you never know. Just do it. Just share it anyway. Because I wasn't ready in 2020. I heard all about the mud flood and I was like, no, I can't do that. I was in some other rabbit holes at the time. But when I was ready was when Joseph presented the mud flood theories. And I started to research them. And for me, what was so incredible is that architecture is an objective, just something that you can touch it. And when you start to ask questions of the narrative and you start to look into the 1800s and you're like, really? No. Okay, so 1,000 years seems to be missing. Now, if this was your bank account and $1,000 is missing, you're not just going to say, oh, well, this is, whatever. No, you are going to want to get an accounting. Now, that's what's happened to our timeline. They've stolen 1,000 years and possibly more. I don't know. These are the little details that I would love to have like dialogue with some of you about. I would love to have one of you as a guest and talk to me. Like, let's just like iron sharpening iron, like have a conversation. or if you're an expert in this stuff, I want to talk, okay? I have questions. But I'm calling it rapture fatigue because a lot of the things that, 2020 informed us of, a lot of us are traumatized. This is when the veil was lifted. And we got to see things that we wish we hadn't seen. The tyranny of 2020. The trauma of witnessing friends and family turn into what you read about in 1984. I mean, Brave New World, Huxley. We got to see that where we were. I mean, they didn't have to really install this big brother system like we saw in the movie. Because, the Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, basically, the whole WEF thing that, Klaus Schwab, you'll have nothing, you'll own nothing, and you'll be happy. We're there already. And that's the thing about this rapture fatigue. Because, we did the whole pin the tail on the Antichrist. Everybody's the Antichrist. It was Reagan. It was who? Obama, because he's so evil. Oh my God, Obama, the Obama rabbit hole. We're going to have to deal with that, okay? His whole presidency needs to be wiped out. But that's for another subject. But Obama, I would say he's the closest to the Antichrist. And, some people think Trump is because, he's brokering peace and, the narrative of he's going to be a man of peace, like it's going to be a false peace. But this is the thing about the pin the tail on the Antichrist. I personally don't believe that in my lifetime we're going to see an Antichrist, in our lifetime, in our generation. I don't believe in it anymore. I believe that it's happened already. I believe that we're post the tribulation. And the reason why is that I've been grappling to understand it. Where are we? Where are we, God? Where are we, Dad? Abba? Help me understand this crazy clown world. And I don't believe that God would leave us without answers when we truly seek with sincerity. And I recently had more information that helped me to just begin to understand, because this is a process. I don't have all the answers, but I feel a lot better right now in terms of having come out of the church, the teaching of the rapture, and then knowing that this is an imminent event. And looking at the history of, there have been groups that they go up to the mountain, they sell all their earthly possessions, and they're waiting for it because somebody has set a date on it. And what does that do to the faith of the people? Well, I believe that the rapture, or whatever, the tribulation, let's just say the tribulation period, of when the church was going to undergo, beheadings, that's the level of persecution. I mean, look at 2020 and look at the church here in America. Do you think the church in America would be able to stand against the Antichrist of the Bible, like what we heard about even with the Left Behind series? The church closed down, remember? Closed the doors to the flu. I couldn't believe it. I expected church members, pastors to be locked up. No, the church, the modern church, can't be bothered with being locked up. Sorry, Paul, on the island of Patmos. We're not built for that. So I believe we're post. I believe now, Tina in Alabama. What's up, Tina? Tina, we got to talk, sis. I really now really believe that we are in the short season of Satan. Now, we can discuss Satan if you guys want to believe that Satan is the Freemasons that were unleashed, or some people controversially have believed that the Satan is the synagogue of Satan. Okay? I mean, I'm open to listening to what some people have, have researched and come up with, understood, because I'm beginning to understand more. And 2020 was when the veil came off. The veil came off of our faces. We were able to see with somewhat 2020 vision. I mean, I'm always praying that the vision correction is constant, constant vision correction. So I wrote some notes, and I just want to, if you don't mind. So I believe that this whole rapture thing was, did I say it earlier? It's a fear of death. A lot of us don't want to die. We don't want to die in order to go to the great beyond. Whatever it is you want to have in your great beyond. Eternity. That's a long time, by the way. It's a long time to be wrong about, where you are. I'm just saying. Now, we are called to endure to the end, to be overcomers. And this current system of bread and circus, and heavy on the circus, and here in America, heavy on the bread. But the bread and circus, very Romanistic, can I say it? Roman Empire-ish. It just, it's not sustainable, and that small percentage that wants to bring about all of this chaos and wickedness, they are the Oz, the wizard behind the curtain, and they have to keep up this very fragile reality through their propaganda arms of the media, education, Hollywood, all of that, government. And, we've gotten to see what censorship is like. But imagine being censored throughout history, like the whole history has been censored. It's a hard pill to swallow, But we're called to endure at this point for this short season of Satan. I believe that Satan was let loose to do this last push. This is great deception. And to overcome it, it'll be great rewards for that. To overcome and endure this. But do not submit to a beast system. Don't submit to it whatsoever. And not let fear cloud judgment. So at this point, in terms of biblical scholarship, I believe that we are currently in Revelation 20 through 22. Somewhere in that area, in terms of timeline of the end of this system, this wicked beast that needs to die. And anybody that wants to keep this thing alive, it's like, why? Why do you want to keep this thing alive? Why do you want to force your brothers and sisters to put on masks, and you want to have their body autonomy violated? By putting something in their body that can alter their genetics? Like, really? Did you study what this thing was? I hope people are not going to submit to it and be the Mr. Smiths for the system. I hope it won't be a lot of people, but history repeats because we don't learn. And a big part of it is that history has been hidden. It's been erased in some instances. But I believe that the Most High would not leave us like a child in a hot car. I know some of you do believe that, you know, we've just been left in this prison planet ghetto, simulation, proving ground, earth. We've been left here like children in a hot car, but that's not the case. So, you know, some people, they think that, you know, when you have hope again, it's like hopium. But my hope now, and it always has been in the Most High, but I see differently. I don't fear the future. And I'm not anticipating, like I said, this whole Antichrist and tribulation. I mean, like I said, for real, you really think that we're up for that? We allowed our republic to be stolen here in America, and nobody is fighting now. We don't have that kind of fight in us. But thank God that He has mercy, that He has shown some people to wake the rest of us up like where we are. We've been so discombobulated. But I feel a lot better. I feel like I understand things a lot more, and expectations are different. And I mean, it makes you feel so much better. Like, you know, even I have 2 grandchildren. These things really are important for me to think through, like for their, you know, on their behalf, like to understand things. So I want to have a live stream, but I'll put some more information, some more content up about this. I want to talk about it a little bit more. I know it's going to offend some people in terms of Christianity, you know. It's okay. I've had my time. I've been a prodigal daughter. You know, I was initiated into, you know, some of the dark arts. My father had me initiated into Santeria as a teenager. So I've actually been in other systems of faith, dabbled for the most part, didn't jump all the way in, but the dabbling, dangerous. But I've come back because that scripture is true. When you teach a child and you put them on that path, you teach them the way they should go. And as they grow older, they will not depart. They may like have their time of being prodigal, but they will come back. And I did. So I'm back. And I want to talk about this stuff more. And yeah. The fear of death is really what keeps a lot of people bound. It's a hard thing to fear, to go around and fear. And this is how they get people to submit to the enslavement. So, thank you for listening. And please share more, because like I said, I want to talk about this more. Satan's little season, when he's released, and yeah, the buildings, right? The builders. A lot of people feel that the Satan that was released is the secret societies of the Freemasons and all that. You know, I don't want to get into a debate. If you feel that the Freemasons do good things, I don't, okay? They do good things just to make it seem good. Like it's like money laundering, like trying to clean money. But it's nefarious. It is worshiping other gods. It's pagan. It's Esau. It's Cain. The religions of all these pagan societies. The Greeks and the Romans. Neo-paganism. By another name. So a lot of us have to come out of these organizations, these sororities, these fraternities. We have to come from among them, because they are worshiping all of these gods of the Greeks and the Romans and the Egyptians and the Phoenicians and whoever. I think they're all the same thing. We can get into that another time. But yeah, it makes sense. I mean, you know, the stonemasons, the builders, the architects, the little G's, you know, they build all this stuff, but they can't build the beautiful structures of the old world. The stuff that's built now, it's so uninspiring. It's not beautiful. That stuff in the old world, as they say, was beautiful. The Dark Ages. You know how they call... What is the Dark Ages? The Middle Ages? What? This is when they said, basically, lights out. It was the Dark Ages. A whole, what? 1,000 years you're going to say is the Dark Ages? We'll talk about that at another time, the Dark Ages. My goodness, what? So yeah, the Dark Ages must have been the millennial reign of Christ. And so, you know, these illuminated ones that think they know better than God, they want to create utopia here on this earth, where this earth is passing away, that those of us that are chosen, yes, I said chosen, of the natural root and the grafted in root branch, we are looking for the new earth. We are looking forward to the kingdom. It's here now. The kingdom. It is invading. But the new earth is where I am headed. The new Jerusalem. That's where I want to be. This stuff, y'all could have it, okay? Y'all can have all this stuff here that's passing away. Clown world. If you think you could redeem it and all this stuff, good, glad, I'm happy. But I don't believe that any of this stuff can be redeemed without the Redeemer. You show me how it's going to happen without the Redeemer. When you have the veil taken off of your face and you realize just how degenerate this civilization is, only God and his armies could clean this up and deal with it and bring justice. And by the way, after during the Revelation time, I'm saying the short season, the great white throne judgment. Can you imagine the white throne judgment? We all have an appointment, whether you like it or not, sorry. It's what I believe. We all have an appointment, a court appointment for the white throne judgment. Can you imagine going to court unprepared? But the thing that's the hope that we have when we place it in the Most High is that we don't go to court without a lawyer, without an advocate. Now, in the case of those that believe in what the Most High God prepared in terms of a more than sufficient replacement, sacrifice for what we would have had to do, like what the third temple, and bring back animal sacrifices. Because without blood, there is no remission of the sin. And I know all this is offensive to some people. Too bad. But the hope is that everyone who wants to go to court with an advocate, and the advocate actually paid the price for you, paid everything, it's up to you. It's up to me. This is an individual decision, and we have to work out our salvation with fear and trembling. Fear, not the kind of fear. These are the things like the words like fear. Fear is a respect. When they say fear God, you respect. You have a reverence for. And that's what the word means. It's not the fear that the Satans want you to have. No. But if you want to go to that court appointment with an advocate, he's there for you. The Messiah, the Christ, Son of the Most High God. There you are. There's the hope. And you don't have to go through the tribulation and all this stuff. Well, we need to look into the Gog and the Magog thing because we're looking at Russia and China and the BRICS and the this. But no fear. No fear. We don't fear Russia, Gog and Magog and all. Listen, I'm going to read, by the way, the next video, if you want to watch it, I'm going to read Revelation 20 through 22. How about that? Okay, so meet me over there. Thank you so much for watching. I know this has been a long video, but I just wanted to share that. And I want to thank again all of you that have been on this marathon with me. I love you, and we are going to overcome, okay? We are occupying, right? And we'll continue to encourage each other. So thank you. And endure to the end. Take care.